big drop off in the second weekend apparently.
Oh,
Shock of
yeah,
shocks.
yeah.
Let's see how the
Uh,
new one is doing because I we kind of with us taking the week off last week, we kind
yeah,
of lost out on getting to report on that.
yeah,
Let's see. Oh yeah, we have Barbenheimer coming, which I've been kind of out of the loop. I That's just like people. I feel like people are willing the box office to not be completely dead this summer. So it's like, hey, here's the hype. There's a movie for everyone. Please come buy tickets and popcorn.
yeah, yeah. Pretty much, yeah,
Um, so let's kind of go down here in order. This summer has just been really hard to track and keep and analyze because everything has been underperforming except for little weird things.
yeah, yeah. Like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Um, even Sound of Freedom is doing really well, which is
Yeah,
I attribute all of that to word of mouth.
right. It's got to be.
Yeah,
The big surprise for me though is that Mission Impossible is not being another Top Gun at all.
yeah,
Like it's the thing is this series doesn't really. It's like it's kind of like the fast movies where it's more of an international than a domestic box office.
yeah,
And 250 million over the course of actually what also makes it hard to analyze is that they released it last or on a Tuesday for some reason.
yeah. That's right. Which, yeah, yeah. They really wanted to get an extra jump on it.
Yeah, that was just strange. It also makes it mildly irritating to analyze its first weekend because you look at the first weekend, you go, "Oh, 54 million. That's a huge bomb." And it's like, well, if you look at it up to that point, it's 78 million. So
Yeah,
still, uh, actually, let's give it a quick comparison to Indiana Jones, which came in fourth on its third weekend. Yeah, Indy is ahead of it, but that's comparing first week to third week.
yeah. Yeah, Ninja says the Sound of Freedom is both word of mouth and Christian community's willingness to support anything that seems to have mainstream success. Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about identity politics is that it has made people like just across the board more interested in supporting things that seem like them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I suspect that might be why Brian Michael Bendis made Miles a twofer by being half black and half Puerto Rican, but
yeah,
that's a rather cynical take on it. But
yeah.
But yeah, Sound of Freedom actually crossed $100 million today, which that was a number I was not expecting that one to hit, period.
No, I wouldn't either. Yeah.
Like that was just shocking.
Hmm.
Still no international release, but
Yeah.
that one might just be digital only internationally.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably. Yeah.
my one of the managers at my company actually ended up seeing it because well he and his wife got tickets through a group that was buying tickets for it, and they proceeded to pay it forward by buying tickets to give to somebody else.
Mm,
So, and some people have been saying, "Oh, this isn't a real box office result because it's just church groups buying up the tickets." And it's like, if people are actually going and seeing it, and then they're paying for a ticket for somebody else, that's still a sale.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah. It's not the traditional way of doing it. Yeah.
Um, Indiana Jones. When people were going, "Yeah, this thing isn't even going to cross 350 million," I was like, "Nah, that seems off."
Yeah.
It it- it's not as off as it felt at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And this, and we'll probably get into a little bit of that later. But despite what some people might say, no, it has not broken even.
Oh my God. Let's see. Did I save that? No, I forgot to save that story. You know what?
Oh,
Give me a moment here, Daniel. Keep the people entertained.
okay.
I think I need to find that link because I forgot about that
Yeah,
for the week's sources.
yeah. So the other thing too, I wanted to kind of mention real quick with Mission Impossible is it's probably going to outperform Indiana Jones,
Yep.
more than
Al
likely. Yeah,
almost certainly at this stage.
yeah, and I think too that it's not gonna do Top Gun Maverick numbers. I mean I may have said this a few weeks back, but it's not gonna do it won't do a billion, but it'll probably do like 700, 800.
Yeah, it's all going to depend on how it legs out.
Hmm.
But again, deucedly hard to analyze because of launching on a Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah, and from what I've heard too, like it's not out. It's basically performing the same way you normally see with a Mission Impossible movie, and and
Right.
apparently those movies do tend to leg out. So
Yep. So we'll see.
yeah,
Um, yeah, CBR is trying to claim that it's broken even with its budget.
no. Either either who the person
Jeremy
who
and
wrote
Dick.
this article, or yeah, is it okay? They're either an idiot, they don't know how box office works, or they're being dishonest, or maybe a combination of all three.
Yep. So as we've gone over before, uh, you get roughly a little bit over 50% on average from the U.S. because out of the
Yeah,
goodness of their hearts.
right. Yeah,
Internationally, you average like 40 million, or 40 million, 40-ish%, depending on the market.
right.
Then China, you get a quarter. Although this movie is completely bombed in China, so uh,
Yeah,
uh, not a big concern.
yeah,
But the only way you can do that is to look at the fact that the movie has crossed 300 million finally. It's like, oh, the stated budget is 300 million, ergo break even, and that isn't even getting into marketing
yeah.
or the or what we can reasonably suspect are massive budget overruns because they kept having to reshoot this thing during COVID.
Yeah, and as we learned a couple of weeks ago from Doctor Strange multiverse, it probably was well over the stated budget.
Right? We can't trust those numbers. Like we kind of have to go by them because otherwise we're weird conspiracy theorists massaging numbers like Karl Rove in the 2012 election.
Yeah,
But we yeah, no, you don't no cookie for you, CBR.
no, no.
Let's see. As far as other surprises, I think the one that I find the most interesting is that Elemental has actually developed some pretty decent legs. Because like if you look at its where it's in the chart compared to its initial opening,
Yeah,
it's actually well above the numbers chart or projection here.
yeah,
Now, mind you, it's yeah, only by CBR math has this thing made a profit.
yeah,
Um, because $200 million production budget. Um, Actually, I question how much they spent on marketing because I kept seeing commercials for this thing, but other people keep saying they didn't.
yeah. I would imagine they probably spend a good chunk of money on the marketing. I'd probably 100, maybe 150 million.
Yeah, even if we assume they actually did they do a Super Bowl commercial? I want to say they did a Super Bowl
I think
commercial.
they did a Super Bowl commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that and thinking, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, and Super Bowl commercials are I think that's what, like 10 million,
Yeah,
something like that.
something nuts like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if we assumed 100 million, like you're still in like the 500 to 600 million dollar range to break even. It is
Yeah.
not hitting that.
No.
But I think that these results are kind of indicative of the word of mouth on it is decent.
Mhm.
Um,
not great, but it's
Right. And you know what? If you have the kids at home from on summer vacation, you just want to go somewhere that's cool, have a big tub of popcorn, and just not worry about it and you're sick of seeing Spider-Man.
yeah,
That's probably where this movie is getting some pickup traffic.
yeah, yeah, and uh, what was I gonna say about it? It's probably I'm assuming it's better than Lightyear.
It would almost have to be.
Yeah,
What I've heard about it is that the most you can say about it is kind of a vague premise.
yeah,
Like there's a bit in the trailer where the two lead characters just completely defeat a chain link fence. Like the one oozes through it because he's water, and the other one just walks through it because she's fire. And one of them says, I don't know why we even make these things. Like you're undermining the veracity of the world.
yeah,
Also, if you're fire people, why do you live in a why do you have water in your house if that will kill you?
yeah. That doesn't make any
Like
sense.
water mains in your house.
Yeah,
So it's just like it, it, it sounds like it's just a cute, harmless idea, but it really feels more like like an Illumination movie than a Disney movie or a Pixar movie.
yeah, and they could be trying to copy Illumination, thinking, oh well, we can do that too, and
Which boy, that's a bit like the Yankees looking at the Seattle Mariners uh, for tips on how to run a baseball club.
yeah.
I can say
Oops.
that because they're my team.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you wonder if this movie had just been tightened up a little bit. If it had that Lassiter magic applied to it, it
Yeah.
it probably could have done all right.
Yeah. Well, interesting you bring up Lassiter because that CNBC interview that Iger did, they asked him about firing Lassiter, and
Hmm.
he said if that had an effect on Pixar, and he said, "Well, we've let a lot of people go that it's really affected the company." I'm like, yeah, okay,
Sure, vague answer. Why not?
yeah,
Um, the other thing is a Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, complete disaster. So it's
yeah,
at least it was cheap.
yes, and just get it out of there, let's get on and move on.
Yeah, Asteroid City has made nearly another 10 million on top of it. And that's a
Wow.
niche movie that's as niche as you get.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, oof, last weekend The Flash brought in a grand total of $95,000.
Ouch.
Really shouldn't have gone out there saying this was the best superhero movie ever and trying to imply that people like Stephen King and Tom Cruise liked it because now you've destroyed your credibility, James Gunn.
Yeah. Man.
So, yeah, the no good, very bad box office continues. Actually,
Yes.
was this the daily? Oh, excuse me. This was the domestic daily chart for yesterday. My bad.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
95,000 for yesterday though is nothing to.
That's
It's better than for the weekend, but oh my
yeah.
gosh. Ugh.
Yeah.
But Daniel, there's still hope, right? They can go make new, better movies because the means of
Yeah.
production are still open, right?